right, without further ado, I have introduced everyone. Feel free to go ahead and put your answers in the chat. I'll be reading those as we go along. But we're going to start off with Dr. Juhi Lee. Like I said, she is the chair of the department. And so, Dr. Lee, I'll let you take it from here. And she's just going to tell us a little bit about her department.
Hi everyone, this is Dr. Juhi Lee. I'm the interim chair of the department, meaning that I'll be stepping down from the first semester. But I'm the professor of early childhood elementary education, been here at UTA about 17 years. So like in fall, it's my 18 years coming up. So I'm so excited. So I want to kind of share like why teach. I feel like since you are here, anyway, welcome everyone. So you are here, meaning that you have like some interest in teaching. So I will kind of share why teach. So my experience, I think you have like, all of you might have like your favorite teachers, and I do too. Like all the time, like elementary school, and I have like a favorite, and middle school, high school. And guess what? Like when I was at first grade, I wanted to be the like first grade teacher. Second grade, I wanted to be the like second grade teacher. Middle school, I wanted to be the like middle school teacher. And high school, it's like all the time. It's like being a teacher is just awesome. And I can share so much about like the importance of the teacher, but it's like time is not there. So I can share like very brief experience why I become a teacher. And here's my story. And like one step, I kind of share with my student before, but this is the kind of story is always in my heart. And I hated mathematics, but right now it's mathematics, my research, and I love math. I teach how to teach math, by the way. So the mathematics is kind of not my favorite, I would say least favorite subject, hated it. Of course, if you hate something, some subject, you are poor, your score is just poor. It was me, elementary school. And one day, the teacher, I remember like his face, he's very old, and his voice is very calm and very gentle. He said, I didn't like math, meaning that my score didn't it wasn't good. And he said one time, "Oh, Juhi, you got the potential in math." What? Look at my score. Look at my work. I didn't. And it's kind of, however, he said, "Juhi, you got the potential. I think you got the potential in math." I believe that. Since then, I can work very hard on math, like every day. Like it's my passion. Since then, I got my score is top and I can love mathematics. I cannot live without mathematics because of the teacher. And really, whenever I kind of think about my kind of whole career and my profession, and without him, I wouldn't be here. So that's the teacher. That's the impact of a teacher. So good teachers make a difference. See, I'm like a living evidence. So from the like AAEE, like American Association for Employment in Education Study, and 80% of US adults reported that having a good teacher created a positive and significant impact on their life. That's, again, I'm the evidence. I think I'm the proof. And I think many of you here and will say, "Oh, I have this experience with a teacher. I have that, I have this." It seems like we all have some kind of some impact from our teachers, right? And that's the teacher. Teachers make a difference. And teachers are needed everywhere. That's why we teach, no matter where you go, and the teachers are needed there. And additionally, good thing, teachers are respected, highly respected. And we have like a Gallup poll information in here, and Gallup consistently find that teachers are rated high in trustworthiness, and the profession's perception as prestigious has been increased from 29% in 1977 to 60% in 2018. This is kind of the numbers. I think this is 2021. Numbers should have been grown. And I would say like one of like the Asian proverb. And there's like this kind of old people will always say that teachers, parents, kings have the same authority. That's the kind of that's the kind of respect you will get if you go to like any Asian countries. Can you go to the next slide, please? So we have, since you came here, and meaning that you have some of a kind of interest in kind of being a teacher. So we have two options here. So Masters of Education in Teaching with the initial certification and teacher certification preparation program. So we will kind of talk about that later, little detail. So those are the two kind of pathways you can go. Okay, so what do we offer in here at UTA, College of Education? And you can complete the MEDT program in as few as 2 years. And again, I'm in the like early childhood elementary education, and some student, kind of full-time working students, and they kind of complete the 1.5 year. It depends on how hard you can work and how demanding work you can kind of handle. So you can go with like 2 years, but still you can go for like 1.5 years. And our UTA, College of Education, is number 2 teacher producing university in the DFW area, and the number 15 in Texas. So this is kind of very good number we have here. So retention rate, in 5-year retention rate, we have 80%. And this is again pretty high compared to like other university. So I think we are producing the teachers with the high quality here. And our school, the curriculum and department provides in classroom clinical teaching experiences. So you will spend about like 1 semester at the school, and like you work there and you practice your teaching there, and it's like the cooperating teacher, you kind of do the same work and you assist, but eventually you will kind of teach like a whole class. So we highly value the experience in the classroom. So we want to provide that experience before you graduate. Okay. So Masters of Education in Teaching, as I kind of mentioned before, and there are 2 pathways you can become a teacher. And the one is that you can pursue the master's program. So meaning that you will kind of get that once you complete the MEDT program, and you will get the teacher certification and the master's program. And this is for ideal for students who desire an advanced degree. So if you need the like master's degree, yes, this is the program you want to go. And financial aid and teacher grants are available. So depending on your program of your study and eligibility. And master's degree may result in, will result in higher starting salary in many school districts. So second pathway is the certification only program, preparation program. And this is good for the student who want to be a teacher without a master's degree. So this includes full semester of student teaching. Usually it takes about like 1 year if you work really full time, and you will kind of complete like all the requirement for the teacher certification preparation program in 1 year. But it depends on your time schedule and your kind of work schedule. So we don't kind of push you to the push you to finish the program in 1 year. You can take your time because you have to take some tests. And so depending on your circumstance, and you can finish it in 1 year or 1.5 years. So like usually for the like early childhood elementary education, I advise those students, and they very not many, it's like a few students come here for like teacher certification preparation program instead of a master's. But I always said, okay, so you can kind of take some classes, and if you ever change your mind for the master's, you can always change that. You can there is a process. I think Courtney is, if she's here, and she can explain the process later. However, and the good thing is that after you finish the teacher certification preparation program, you need just 2 more courses to complete the master's course, master's degree. So why not? But I would say 95, close to 100% they come back for the master's, because it's 2 more courses to kind of take, then you can get the master's degree. But still you have an option, master's with the initial certification or certification only program.
Perfect. And I think this is a really good time for, I don't know if Dr. Holly Hungerford-Kresser has anything that she wants to add. And if not, we will leave it to Christine Pruitt to talk about our certification. Dr. Kresser, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, I think what Dr. Lee said is really important to remember, that the MEDT provides you the flexibility of getting your master's and getting certified, and you can get certified, start teaching while you finish out your master's. But it also gives you some flexibility later. If you just do the teaching certification piece, you can do that. And then sometime later, you can come back and do your graduate content area courses and then your 2 research courses to help, to get you all the way to that 30-hour MEDT that we offer. But the certification is pretty quick. You can do it in a single semester of coursework and then the single semester of clinical teaching. And so a lot of students like to do that because they can start working and be employed as teachers and, really quickly. And so we find that a lot of students come to us and do their coursework in the fall and then their clinical teaching in the spring, and then they're employed by August. So that tends to be something that's really attractive.
Dr. Hungerford-Kresser, we have a question in the chat to me that I think would be good for everyone. Y'all kind of touched upon it, but she says she graduated recently with a master's in English. Can she partake in just the teacher certification preparation program? That was a really good question. And so I think it would be worth just reiterating that for everyone.
Yeah, so as far as I understand, and maybe someone with more authority than I have over actual credits, but I think that, yes, you can take the post-baccalaureate certification courses, which are, like I was saying before, that you take the single semester of coursework and then you have your clinical teaching and then you can get certified. And so, but I think maybe Christine can make sure that that's accurate. So.
I saw that question as well, and I was curious. I immediately wondered, needed more information about it. It depends on what your goals are. If you are seeking certification to teach in the K through 12 area, then definitely having a bachelor and a master's already, you could seek certification only. And like they said, that's about a year-long process. That's it. But if you're seeking to teach, it sounded to me like you were trying to teach maybe to foreign students or foreign languages, and that might be a different pathway that we need to talk about rather than MEDT. So if you want, I'll jot my email information in here later, and you can send me more details so that I can send you in the right direction. Also, if you're seeking your PhD or EDD, since you already have your master's, are you planning on teaching at the college, the community college level, or eventually the 4-year college level? All of that plays into which way we would send you. So send me more information so I can get you more accurate information, if that's okay. And I just wanted to touch on right quick what Dr. Kresser and Dr. Juhi said. With the certification only, that's great for some people. Make sure you know your style. Some people were born to just jump in the classroom. Some people need a little more foundation building in your confidence and your skills. And so the master's would be more inclined for your type of learning. That way, when you get into the classroom, you don't feel overwhelmed. You've had all of this experience, classroom experience, and building up with the coursework to prepare you to be in the classroom. And so those are the kind of the characteristics you have to look at to decide which program is best for you. Okie doke. So do you want me to touch on certification areas while we're on here? Okay, so certification areas, we offer early childhood through 6th grade, and this is also prepares you for the ESL supplemental because many districts require that now to even hire you. And this is in the core subject area. So what that means is the new testing, if you'll remember back in your elementary days, mine was a way long time ago, but you had different subjects. So you had math, science, English, I think I said science, social studies, and then the last category is fine arts, health, and PE. And so that's the subjects you'll be prepared for on this test. Also, the new testing this year includes science of teaching reading, or the STR for short. You'll hear that, so I want you to be prepared when you hear it. So it just prepares you for elementary all the way around. The mid-level grades are grades 4 through 8, which is typically middle school at most campuses. We also we have the option of secondary, grades 7 through 12, which is high school. And then we have all level, early childhood through 12th grade. And this is typically like music, art, those type of subjects where you teach it at all levels. All right. We also offer a Master of Education in Special Education. This was brand new last year. It kicked off pretty well. And Dr. Jimenez will tell you more about that option. Next slide, sorry.
All right. I think you guys can hear me. This is Dr. Bree Jimenez, and I am the program coordinator for the Masters of Education and Special Education program. And I just wanted to kind of mention a couple of our programs that we have. So we do have a program that is a Masters of Ed in Special Education, where you would be seeking initial licensure in early childhood through 12th grade special education. Our program is 30 credit hours, and it is actually an online asynchronous program, which means that our program can be completed kind of on your own pace in the idea that the classes do not have specific meeting times and days. So if you were taking a course this semester, you maybe your professor would give you kind of a module that you might go through this week or over the next 2 weeks. Our classes are typically 8 weeks, which does mean that it is possible to complete this program in 1 year. But students may want to take a little bit longer, and that's okay too. So the program is completely designed to each student through your advisor, which would be me as the program coordinator. So this program is developed for people who do have a bachelor's degree in something other than education, most likely, and that you do not already have licensure to teach anything. And you're coming in to gain your initial teaching license. So this program does have field placement hours. You'd be in the field every semester working on some of your assignments. And then it also includes a final semester of clinical teaching, where you would be 5 days a week in special education classrooms, 2 settings in which you would be working on being a teacher and having that guidance of a teacher in the field and also your supervisor. This program, what else did I want to say? We also currently have the MMS program. And I know, Allison, you had mentioned you were interested in that specifically. So the MMS program is actually a federally funded program in which our faculty, Drs. Romig and Green in the special education department, along with colleagues in the social work, worked together and received federal grant funding for students to come into this program in which their tuition would be 100% paid for, tuition and fees. So this is a big deal and an honor that UTA was awarded this federal grant. This grant is available for people who are interested in initial licensure and again, fit all of those criteria. Like I mentioned, tuition and fees for a year, but it also includes quite a bit of mentorship, which is above and beyond the just existing master's program. This program does have to be completed in 1 year though. So that is, that's the only kind of caveat, is that the next cohort, we have one cohort right now, and if you'd like to check them out, I'll put the link to the website in the chat as soon as I finish talking. We do have the first cohort, and you can kind of check out the program. And our second cohort, we are accepting applications right now, and they will begin in spring of 22. So we have 2 cohorts total that are federally funded going through this program called Match Made in Schools, with that field experience hours, and you can check out more.
All right, this is me again, I think, right, Monique? Okay. So Monique wanted me to talk a little bit about just some things that you might expect if you were going to be a part of our program, some things you could be looking toward. And I run the English education program. So I teach in a Master of Literacy Studies as well, but I'm the advisor for the English education program. And so I know a little bit about the secondary certifications, because I work with students who are going to gain the 712 certification in English, but I also work some with the social studies students. And one of the things that you might be interested in knowing is just, for example, if you were doing the English 712 masters, the MEDT, or just the certification, your coursework would be, the courses would be online for that particular one. We do all of that coursework online. And so what happens, kind of like what Dr. Jimenez was saying, you have some flexibility, right, in getting your coursework done. You have field experiences and things attached to it, but the coursework piece is really flexible. And then your clinical teaching is face-to-face and full-time in your next semester. And so that's something that a lot of times, that flexibility, people enjoy. And then at the same time, the one thing you should understand about the sequence of classes, whether you do just the certification or you do the entire master's degree, they're a nice mix of sort of theory and practice. You do a lot of practical based applications of education. You learn to plan lessons and you learn about students, right? So there's those pieces to it. But then with Christine Pruitt's help, we also are walking you through all the elements of certification. We help you pass your exams so that you can become a certified teacher. We work with you so that you get enough field experience hours to become a certified teacher, so that when you're done in TEA, you get to apply, for your certification. So in addition to getting sort of the theory and the coursework and the things that you need to be an educator, we also guide you through the process of becoming a teacher. We don't just throw you out there, right? You're there with us, and we help you make sure that you know what's going to be on your exams, how you're going to pass those, and that your coursework kind of lines up to help you be successful in getting certified.
And one thing I can add, EC6 ESL has like the same component. We have like all the like asynchronous courses. It's like for the like certification program, we have all the asynchronous courses except the clinical teaching and some field components of the courses. And those are like all the certification. And if you want to go for the masters, we have 2 more research courses. Those are the online course, on-campus courses. So all the certification courses, yes, those are the like asynchronous courses for EC6 ESL too.
Wanted to make sure I was not muted the whole time. Again, everyone, my name is Christina Jones. I'm the academic recruiter. So I'm actually a current MBA student at UTA as well. So I wanted to just kind of hopefully put your minds at ease when it comes to talking a little bit about like finances. So I know Monique is, as she mentioned, she's new to our college, and she just having different experiences, says she's thought our UTA tuition estimator is one of the best. And I think it is also, I can attest, very good. Super easy to use. We have the link. Someone can pop in the chat. I can't really go back and forth a whole lot while sharing the screen. But so we have a really good UTA tuition estimator that you can use with the link that hopefully someone's putting in the chat right now. That can take you through, a very good estimation of how much it would cost for your classes. So we have an example here for a student that we just kind of pretended we had a student that was going to be taking a full-time course load, which is 9 hours or more. But this was a 9-hour sample in the fall 2021 semester. So they have the tuition, they have the fees, which there's more detail if you want to look at that, what all the fees, all that adds up to be and why that's there. And then gives you the total. So again, this is for students who are that full-time 9 hours, Texas resident, and this is for college of education hours, or like an MEDT program. So again, this may vary a little bit depending on your circumstances, if you're a resident versus not resident. Obviously, if you're going for a master's versus undergraduate, which I don't think anyone is, but there's some things that could change it for you a little bit. But when I personally use this estimator for my classes to predict how much I would have to pay out of pocket, it was about 95% accurate. So it's going to be a really close estimation as to what you're going to do. I'm not sure, assuming that everyone is going to be working full-time and doing it more part-time, that that wouldn't be as much. So think of this as kind of like, I guess, your cap of what it would be for you each semester. But then again, it's going to probably be less, assuming that you're taking not the full course load, since that is a lot. I tried doing that this summer and I had to drop one course. I had to go down to 6. So there's no shame in just, being part-time. At least that's what I like to say. So in terms of your next steps, if you are, feeling like you do want to commit and you want to, try to get into this program, just be aware that the application deadline is August 1st. So UTA, we have a lot of rolling admissions, but that is one of our more hard deadlines for August 1st. Because your classes will begin August 25th. And there is a link I think someone can provide with the academic calendar. So you can just be aware of some of those other important deadlines throughout the academic year. But that's again, accurate as to what you can expect in terms of timing. And then if you are just wondering what your steps are to get started, it looks like a lot of steps, but it prompts you a lot of these really don't take a whole lot of time. So you definitely want to, first of all, just figure out where you want to get started in terms of a grade level and a subject. I know at the undergraduate level, a lot of students say just education, but you do have to pick a subject and a grade level. So then you can actually get that certification for that specific content and grade level. So after you've done that, which I'm sure most of y'all probably have that already done, so you can check that off. You want to meet with the College of Education advisor, which again, a link can be provided with how to do that. We do have at the moment one College of Education advisor. Her name's Courtney Jones. They mentioned her earlier. She is the advisor for the MEDT program as well as the certification only program. We did just get a new advisor, so she may take over some of that, but right now it is just Courtney. So they can provide her information. I know it's at the end, but also in the chat if you need. And then of course you want to apply to UTA Online because after you've met with Courtney and just got a little bit better understanding of what the program is, maybe get some last minute questions in before committing, submitting the application to then pay the application fee. You can do that. And the application is pretty much very similar to, the undergraduate application process. It's not going to be anything too much more strenuous, so I wouldn't worry about that. But you'll pay the application fee, which depending again on your non-resident versus resident status, that can vary a little bit with the importance of other things too. But then you'll take your PACT exam as well, which we know that we probably don't talk about as much as we should. So we have Christine Pruitt who can give you some more insight on that before I just kind of cover the rest of the steps.
You want me to jump in now? Okay.
Please.
I'm putting in the chat the link for the complete PACT information. PACT is your pre-admission content test. And so this is to let us know it's a test over, say you want to teach math like Dr. Lee, and you would take the math 7 through 12 exam if you wanted to teach high school math. If you wanted to teach, say ELAR, English Language Arts and Reading for the middle school, that would be grades 4 through 8. So you're going to take the test that correlates with the grade level and content area that you want to teach. Like I said, the link is in there if you want to go read for yourself, but it's approximately $116. You can take it as many times as you need, but so far I've encountered people only have to take it once, twice at the most. It is only over content. So if it's the English exam, it's only going to be over English. Used to, previous to January of last year, 2020, it covered pedagogy as well, and that wasn't really fair because you haven't been prepared for that yet. So it's changed in the past year. In case you hear any other information about it, come straight to the source because it has changed in the past year. So anyway, you have to pass that to be able to be admitted into the program for certification seeking. For elementary EC through 6, you have to take the number 700 academic skills, essential academic skills. Sorry, I got tongue tied on that one. And it consists of 3. And so it covers reading, math, and sorry, let me look real fast. Never can remember. It's 3 different little tests. Okay. So you have to pass those. Same thing with special education. There's not a specific special education. So you will take the academic skills one for that as well. You do not take like PPR or your supplemental for ESL. All of that comes later. You'll only take content. So if you have any questions about that, send it to me or go to this link and it should answer all of your questions. All right. Thanks.
There it is. So thank you, Christine, for that. So again, make sure that you're reading the information and asking her if you do have any additional questions on the PACT exam. Moving on to more steps. You want to submit official documents. That's, things like your transcripts and your test scores. If you've taken the GRE, I believe at the moment the MEDT is not requiring the GRE, so you don't have to worry about that. But then if you are interested in applying for financial aid, because I believe the MEDT does, you can qualify for financial aid, then you want to go to the FAFSA.gov and use that. And we have that UTA code that we can definitely make sure that y'all get sent out if you need it when applying for that. And then from there, you're just going to make sure that you're checking your application status as much as possible. I believe that it would be going to your UTA email, which gets created after you've made your application. So make sure you're looking to see if you've been admitted. And if you have, then you'll need to go into MyMath and click accept. So then you can actually matriculate into the program. So make sure you're constantly checking your email so you can get your updates on that. And then applying to the EPP, which is the Education Preparator Program. After you've been admitted, again, Christine can go into a little bit more detail on that before we go on to the next slide.
All right, so for the Educator Preparation Program, this is a state requirement that everyone participate in the EPP for short. It's built into your degree plan or your certification plan, whichever route you decide to go, but you have to be admitted and successfully complete an EPP to be eligible for certification. Like I said, it's built in, it's nothing additional, no extra classes or additional tests or anything. A lot of people get that confused. It's built in to your course map. What it is that set of preparation or certification courses that are getting you ready for your certification. So to apply for that, there's an application. It takes, I think it's about 3 or 4 minutes because it's online and you pretty much click through it and give me your information. There's also an essay form. And so you'll respond to 3 prompts on this essay. And I just want to say this is a great opportunity to let you know on these essays, this is our first chance to get to know you. And that's the purpose of the essays. I know y'all probably think we sit around thinking of extra things to make you all do, but we don't. It's all for some requirement, usually set forth by the state. So the essay, the prompts ask you just about your characteristics, about your goals, that type of thing. And it gives us a chance, since we don't have a chance to meet with all of you individually and do an interview, we get to read these and say, oh, okay, I feel like I know them a little better and I see what their goals are or where they're coming from. One of the questions is, kind of picking your brain about why you want to be a teacher. And I don't know about you, but most people knew they wanted to be a teacher by probably about second grade. And you set up your dolls and or your action figures or your brothers and sisters, and you taught them whether they liked it or not. So then that carried into your adulthood. So that's all this is. It's just the essay is to get to know you better. It's a tool, an interview tool. So once you submit all of those, I verify the GPAs, everything is in order. I will send you an official offer to accept your admission to the EPP or decline it. I don't get very many declines, thank goodness. So that's it. And this is just the EPP, like I said, is that set up of courses to prepare you for the exams and for eligibility for certification, as well as it gives us that data set that we're required to report for our accreditation and our accountability. So that's all it is.
Thank you again, Christine. And clicking, there it is. Okay, and then my part's done. So I think we're back to Monique.
Yeah, y'all, that is pretty much it that we had. We do have some questions in the chat. And so if for some reason we went through something and you didn't get it or you didn't fully understand, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I'm going to go through and read some of these out loud, and we can have any of our faculty or our staff pop in. Here is some contact information that will be useful for you. Dr. Lee mentioned Courtney Jones earlier. She is the advisor for this program. She was not able to make it tonight, but that is her email. And so she's going to be a very important person in your life. Certification questions go to christine.pruitt@uta.edu. My email is deliberately not on here because I'm the last person you want to talk to. You won't get any good answers. And Christina Jones, she is the recruiter, but a lot of what she goes over is in this presentation. And so that's why her contact info is not on there. If you have just a general question though, I'll put the link in the chat in just a second, but there is an inquiry form on our website where you can use that, and you can any questions, like seriously any questions. We know that this is new for you all and we're throwing a lot at you.